career is not an accident.
Better than us, depending on where you're from and what you've been through.
What's up? This is Troy Carter, and you're watching The God Show.
I'm a facilitator of dreams. I am not here to take you to your dream.
Dim Joints and Focus. Focus and Dim Joints. What?
Yo, this is Big U. I just finished The God Show.
What up? This Red Push, man. You're not tuned in with The God Show. Just
Poking the bell.
Oh, that is
That's my favorite term. He's the master investor. Ian Dunlap, let's go.
the roller coaster go up and it come down. A lot of them ain't prepared for it to go down.
What y'all need to do, is tune into The God Show tonight.
What show?
In terms of school, it wasn't designed for the way that I'm wired, like, you know, in the way that I learn. So, like, I would cut school, and sometimes I would go to the library. And I always loved books, and so I was an avid reader as a kid. But the school environment and just the structure of classrooms wasn't really designed for the way that I learned. And I think, you know, later in life I found out, you know, it was ADHD, and we didn't have diagnosis back then. Yeah. It was just, you know, my son, your son's not paying attention. But I couldn't sit in one place. Yeah. I always wanted to socialize and talk. And if it wasn't something that I was absolutely interested in, I couldn't lean into it. So in 11th grade, I ended up dropping out, and my mom, like 6 months later, she put me on a bus and sent me off to Baltimore, right outside of Baltimore, to Chesapeake Job Corps Center. And so she said, if you want to do this music thing, you got to come home with a piece of paper. So I ended up getting a GED and then started working from there.
So hold on, you knew you wanted to do music at 16?
Yeah, so I fell in love with hip hop probably like 14, just listening to Power 99, making tapes and things like that, and just love music, love the culture. And honestly, it was the first thing that I felt like I had that I really understood from its core. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I chased that. So we started like a little rap group when we were in 9th grade. I ended up, we said, if we meet Will Smith, he's gonna give us a record deal. So we used to go to his studio and hang out at Jazzy Jeff's studio waiting for them to come out. And literally one day we met them, and that was the sort of first idea around how thoughts become things. Yeah. Like if you put your mind to something, that it actually could come into fruition. Yes. Because I was too young and naive to think that something couldn't happen. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yes. And so so with that actually happening and meeting that guy, him and his partner JL, they took me under their wing and kind of pulled me into the business.
That was basically God touching you, because there's no better people that can take you under their wing. I mean, like, I'm just being honest, like, especially after listening to Will Smith book, like,
Will used to make us like, when I say rough around the edges, we were like rough around the edges. And Will's basically like, y'all got to increase y'all vocabulary. So every day he would give us a new word to learn. Yes. So it would be like recapitulate. Like, what is that? Like, you know, so literally you would have to look in the dictionary, understand it, and every day you would have to come back. He would give you a word, you would have to come back with a new word. But it just was that thing around, you know, we came from, all three of us were from West Philly. Yeah. And he saw like the potential in us as human beings and wanted us to stretch ourselves, you know, because most people who come from our neighborhood, you stay in the neighborhood. Yeah. You know, and if you grew up in Philly, there's a lot of people who grew up in Philly that's never been to New York. Yes. Never been to Atlantic City. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So it's real. Like, so for him, he was pushing us to think way, way, way outside of our neighborhood. And it was great to get it that early in my life. So it's like, you know, those seeds could grow. Yeah. And even when I sort of went off the path, it was sort of that true north that always sort of brought me back to center.
Man, I love that, man. I love being from Atlanta, by the way. But if I could be from another place, I wish I grew up with y'all in Philly. Cause y'all are different, bro. Bro, I watch y'all hold each other down. No, Tamira, you understand. So Tamira's from Harlem. Obviously, I say I'm from Atlanta, but I grew up in the Bronx. And living in the Bronx, I probably went to Brooklyn one time in my 12 years living in the Bronx. You don't leave your borough. So moving to Atlanta was the first time that I actually saw people that looked like me. I didn't even know it was possible. So like, that's why I'm thankful that someone made that I had the opportunity to see outside of it. So when I hear you talking about it, and mind you, I'm like, I just found out Troy dropped out of high school. I'm like, what the fuck? I just knew you was a Harvard grad, the way you was educating people and everything. And I gotta stop because the thing about this show is that I'm people's peers. I want to tell y'all something. Troy Carter is the first person that let me see I didn't know what I was doing as a manager. No, that's dead serious. I watched Troy Carter and Vincent Herbert. You gotta understand something. I didn't want to be in the music business. I'm just a manager. I'm managing two guys from the Virgin Islands who so happen to be signed to Akon's label, who Gaga was signed to also. And, I'm just holding my guys down. But I remember watching you and Vincent every day it was y'all two run from office to office to office to office. I don't think I've ever seen two people work a building like I saw y'all work. So when Lady Gaga became a superstar and everybody was celebrating her, from my perspective, I'm like, I watched you guys do it.
But what was interesting, it's sort of about, you can watch, and a lot of people watch a lot, but a lot of people don't make adjustments, right?
Yes.
So I remember I was managing Eve, and Eve was like my first client. And so she did this record with Gwen Stefani from No Doubt called Let Me Blow Your Mind.
Let Me Blow Your Mind, yep.
So record explodes, and we end up going on promo tour with Gwen.
Yeah.
So mind you, back then, I'm like, go talk about rough around the edges stuff. So I got, my Rough Riders jacket on, like super baggy jeans. Like Tim's on, everything else or whatever. And Gwen's team shows up on the road, and her security has suits on. Her manager has a jacket. And I'm like, and I'm seeing how they're moving.
Yeah.
I'm like, we gotta get this together.
It made you look at yourself.
Yes. Because what ends up happening is Eve is seeing how Gwen's team moves.
Exactly.
So I'm like, I got to make sure our team moves,
because she might see that and be like, I need to be with them. Why we don't? Exactly.
Yeah. So Gwen's manager, Jim Garneau, he was kind enough to let me learn from him. I built a great relationship. We went out, we took Eve out with Destiny's Child, and me and Matthew Knowles, Beyonce's father and former manager, we built a great relationship. And seeing how Destiny's Child moved, I'm like, yo, we gotta get it right.